Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 19
Yes.
of Why Would You Show Me This? I'm Will.
And I'm Dani.
And it is Dani's pick this week.
Yep.
She picked a favorite of hers.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into it.
Yeah. I picked Mirrormask. Which it says on the front. It says from the creative minds of Neil Gaiman and David McKean. Dave McKean. Sorry, Dave McKean is the director.
Yes.
And it says and the Jim Henson Company.
Yes, which we'll get into that.
It's been a while since I've seen this movie, and I still remembered it pretty well though. But it's been, I don't know, at least 5 years probably since I've seen it.
Yeah.
So on the back it says, the White Queen sleeps and will not wake. Black shadows have fallen across her kingdom. The balance between dark and light is broken, and only the Mirrormask can restore it. So Helena, a stranger in a strange land, embarks on an epic quest to find the missing charm before darkness envelops the dream world forever. Yeah. That's
it. That's
well, and
the rest it goes into like, oh, they did this.
The rest of it is like,
yeah,
it's written by Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
You know, all that weird stuff.
Yeah.
Lots of special features in this too.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. What did you think of Mirrormask?
Mirrormask, I liked the beginning of it, in the circus and the whole setup of everything. I liked the weird masks that they have. They're almost paper mache, it seems. They seem that way. They're very...
In which world? The real world?
Both. They're not technically like... They're almost like they could have been made like at art class. Like they're not 100% like...
Some of them.
Yeah, they're very like handmade. Like you can tell that they're handmade. And that's the kind of, I guess, aesthetic they were going for. Especially considering Helena. They say Helena, but I would assume it was Helena. But I guess it's depending on if you're from the UK or not. With her drawings, and they kind of fit her style. Once they got into the fantasy world, the dream world, it fell apart for me. And that's 100% because I am not a fan of everything being CG, of people being filmed on a green or blue screen, and everything else being added in.
Right.
At certain points in the movie, to me, it didn't feel like a movie. It felt like I was playing a mid-90s PC game. And it felt very amateurish, some of the CG. And that, I mean, the story is very simple. The story is one that we've seen a lot. Something is going on.
Well, the funny thing is that the synopsis on the back is not at all how I would surmise this film.
Yeah.
Because it starts with the White Queen and the Black Shadows and all that stuff. It starts with the dream world.
Yeah, it doesn't even...
And it's funny because that's not at all how the film starts.
No, the film starts in the real world. And so the film is Helena, her dad, and her mother have a circus. Family circus. And they are performing one night, and then the mother, after her performance, she kind of falls over. She collapses. And then we find out she has some sort of disease, something's wrong with her, and she's in the hospital. And they don't know if she's going to make it. And that's kind of the start of Helena's... this is her story. This is what's going on with her while this traumatic event is happening in her life. And that's what I was saying. We've seen this movie a lot, where a kid can't deal with a traumatic event going on in their life, whether it be a dying parent, a hurt parent, a divorce, something. And they retreat into this fantasy world. My problem with the movie is that is fine to use a simple story like that, but you really, really have to be invested in the visuals if you're going to go into this fantasy world, and you have to have... My main problem was there are characters like the White Queen is her mother, the Dark Queen, the two queens were both her mother. There's a character in the fantasy world that is her father, but it ends there. until the end of the movie. It ends there with all the characters. Like, we met some of the people in the circus, and I wish we would have gotten more in the beginning of the movie, where we would have gotten to know them a little bit more, and then they're sprinkled out throughout the fantasy world. Nice. I would have liked that a lot. That would have helped. I would have liked the movie a lot more if they did that. Because in my brain, this fantasy world is her retreating, and it is her mind. It's her mind, and I think it's supposed to mirror the real world. But it really doesn't. The only mirror we get is her and her parents. Mm-hmm. While they are the main characters of the story, I don't think it's enough for it, because it's supposed to be like an allegory.
And we also have Valentine,
but Valentine, we don't even know who Valentine is at the beginning of the movie.
No, it's true, we don't.
Valentine is not shown to be a real person until the end of the movie. Yes. And yeah, that's just my problems with it. I feel like if you're going for a simple story like this, a story that we know, mm-hmm. It needs to be visually, it needs to really capture you. And you know what? I'm sure it captures a lot of people visually. I just can't stand that type of visual. I can't stand... I'm an 80s kid. I love real monsters. I love real sets and real locations. If done right, I can like the CGI, but this just felt... I don't know. It just didn't feel right. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the thing about the Jim Henson Company being involved, which I don't understand. They are known for their puppets, for their real prosthetic work, and this is all CG. Mm-hmm. So I don't quite get it. Right. Yeah. Do you still like it as much as you've liked it? Yeah. Yeah? I mean, when did you first see this? How old were you?
I have no idea. Me and my sister watched this together. And I don't know if it was on something, like on a channel, mm-hmm. or if we just happened upon it. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is from Blockbuster. So actually, it's from Blockbuster. It has a little label down here. Yeah. I shouldn't do that and then talk because you can't hear me. Anyway, so we got it from Blockbuster, I guess, and watched it. This was really before I even knew who Neil Gaiman was as well. So.
And I'm truthfully, maybe if you're more familiar with his work, this movie is more enjoyable. I'm not super. I know him. I know The Sandman. I've never read it. I've heard it, and I know it's.
You haven't read anything.
No, I haven't read anything by Neil Gaiman. I just know of him. Yeah. But I think because you said this is kind of his style. Yes. Yeah. Like a lot of what about is his style, the way the characters are?
Well, the funny thing is that I think, and this is a guess, I think Neil and Dave McKean got together because the thing is it actually says a wondrous blend of live action and CG animation, where magical creatures dwell in a fantasy world of unbridled imagination. But yeah, it's the visual. He's the designer-director, so he designed the creatures, I believe.
The director, not Neil.
No, I don't believe Neil did.
So Neil just came up with the story?
Well, he wrote the screenplay and the story. But it's a story by Neil Gaiman and Dave McKean, so I think this is just a joint effort, if anything, which is fine with me because, like I said, I still see influences of Neil in this. Yeah. Especially in the face of Valentine. Yeah. His specific mask, which I would actually hazard to say his isn't a mask. Well, it is a mask, but it's a prosthetic.
Yeah, he also has that chin thing.
Yeah, he has a chin appliance as well. Yeah. And he's fun, but he can be a little annoying. Yeah. I like him throughout, though. Yeah. And I like that he actually has an arc, if you think about it. Because he ends up, spoilers if you haven't seen Mirrormask. But he ends up betraying Helena.
He does. Yeah, he does.
He ends up betraying her. Yeah. Because when she's in the dream world, she looks like the princess of the Shadow Queen, who's missing.
Yes. Who has apparently taken over her life. They've switched
places. Yeah. And the daughter of the the Dark Queen found the Mirrormask and switched places with Helena. So, or Helena. That's gonna
either way. It's gonna be whatever. Thing. We're American. We're gonna say Helena.
So yeah, they switch places, and basically, Helena's trying to find a way back.
Yes. So in my brain, this whole thing is that is her depression error of herself. She can't particularly get over what's happening, so maybe that's the dark version of her, because she does seem to be.
Well, her and her mother like kind of get along, kind of don't, like they bicker, like in the beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning of the movie, her mother, she says to Helena, you'll be the death of me.
And then she says, I wish I was.
I wish I was. Yeah, so it starts off this whole the guilt. She's very guilty throughout the entire movie.
We've all done that.
Yeah, we said things that we don't mean.
Yeah, we said something because we're angry.
Luckily, we haven't. It didn't happen right after, unlike this movie.
Yeah. But that's why you should also be careful about saying those things, because you never know.
Yeah, kids, don't tell your parents that you wish they died, because if they do, you're gonna feel really bad.
Exactly. The thing that I actually do like about the Dark Queen and the White Queen both being her mother is her feelings on her mother as well. Like,
yeah, that's true.
She struggles with feeling, love for her mother, but also feeling trapped and kind of smothered by her as well. Yeah.
Like, I don't get the feeling that she particularly loves the circus life in the movie.
She doesn't appreciate it in the beginning. This is full of tropes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where, the bratty kid doesn't appreciate what she has, she loses what she has, and then regains it only to actually appreciate it for what it is, because she's lost it at one point. So
yes.
That's definitely a thing.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, this is a movie that seemed to be very important to you. So
it's fun.
It hurts me to not like it.
It's fine.
But it just, at a certain point, it just felt like a slag. Yeah. Like I
understand. I will admit, I like this movie, but there are some parts that are a bit boring. Yeah. And you feel like, okay, just get on with it.
To me, not enough of the scenes in the movie correlate to what's happening in the real world. That was a big thing of why I didn't like the movie, because I understand movies that do this, that take you into another world, and the whole point of that, I think, is to reflect what's going on in the real world. But nothing happens like that. Like, there's the scene that you really like. It's the musical scene with the clocks and the Jack in the Box women, and they're singing this song. I know it's a popular song because I recognize the song.
Yeah, it's an old song.
Yeah. I don't know what that had to do with the story. Like, I really didn't understand what that had to do with anything that was going on. Like, basically, the whole other world stuff is just like, hey, here's a bunch of obstacles to get over to get back to the real world, but none of those obstacles reflected anything.
Did you at least like the Birdmen?
I did like the bird gorilla men.
Yes.
Yeah. No, see, that's the thing. They looked all right.
Yeah.
But there's so many other things that it's like.
What about the Sphinxes?
Sphinxes? No, I don't like them because the face, it's so early CG. Like, this was made in 2005, but it really looks like it was made in the 90s to me.
I like it, and I haven't touched upon why. So we're used to CG looking a certain way, looking nice and pristine. Like, huge example, Transformers. Everybody knows that. Everybody's seen it. Everybody knows that's all CG and all that stuff looks fantastic, right?
Sure.
We're used to that. We're used to CG looking good because we've grown up with that. We also know we've seen bad animation as well, right?
Yes.
This isn't the best animation, I'll give it, but I think it doesn't look like anything else I've seen. And I like that. And there's something to be said for that. It's very original. I haven't seen anything like this since, actually, either. Mm-hmm. So while it's not the best CG, I'm fine with that for the fact that I traded off that it's unique.
Sure.
And I like that a lot.
Yeah. No,
I mean, and I'm the same way as you. I like a lot of practical stuff too. I prefer practical stuff a lot more. I'm even okay with a dual use of it, you know, like say in Crimson Peak, where you have things that are practical, but you have things that are enhanced by green screen or CGI.
Yeah, that's the perfect use to me, to do what you can live physically and then add what you need to do after.
And I don't know, I haven't done much research for this. I should, but I have no idea what the budget for this could
I assume it was small.
I do too.
From the look of the movie, it seemed like it was a small budget.
And I imagine they resigned themselves to thinking that there was stuff that was going to be possible to do, and then there was going to be stuff that wasn't, and the stuff that wasn't was going to have to be CG, and it was a lot of it.
A lot. Pretty much the whole movie.
I mean, yeah. But I still think they did the best that they could, and like I said, I'd rather watch this than some other. Not some other, but there are other animated or CGI stuff like this. Like, truthfully, I'd rather watch this than watch Alice in Wonderland, the one by Tim Burton.
But
and I'm a huge Burton fan. Like, if anybody knows me, I love Burton, but I know what's good and what's not. And Alice in Wonderland was not the best, and that was actually a huge issue I had with it, was
the reliance on CG.
A lot of CG, and I'm like, wait, this is not usually what he's known for.
Yeah.
He's not known for a lot of CG, so that was surprising and disappointing. I mean, I liked it enough when I saw it when it came out, but now that I'm older and I've seen it a few more times and stuff, it's just too much.
Yeah.
It's too much CG. And like I said, I like dual stuff, but I'm definitely not a huge fan of entire sets being CG.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
That's what this is, though.
I know, but this is different for me.
Because there's a style?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. I understand that there is a style to this. There is a dark, like even the way they filmed the actual people, it's there's a style to it. I can't take that away from it. There's a style to this movie. The style though is a 90s PC game. Like, that's all I could think of. Like, as soon,
and you like that shit. So.
I mean, I like it when it's that.
Yeah.
But as a feature film, I'm not. It's not up to par for me.
Maybe you take it too seriously.
Film? Yeah, I do. No.
Well, I mean this specifically, because this was fun. I think it's fun. I don't think you think it's fun, but I do, because there's just stuff in it that makes me laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the Sphinxes make me laugh every time because I think they're funny.
There's is the Sphinx the one that does the riddle?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that was okay. Sure.
And I like the giants in the sky. I think they're great. I especially love, because this is something I've seen in a couple of other movies since this. Mm-hmm. Is the slow talking trope of, like, they're trying to get a fast answer, and whoever they're getting the answer from they talk really slowly.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, you know, and they say every word very methodically,
yes.
You know, because they're giants. But I mean, I love that, and I've seen that in other films since. So I don't know if they took it from this or if that's just a thing.
They might have, you know.
But that's funny to me. There's moments in this that are very funny. You know, this movie might resound more with me because it's about a girl who has conflicting feelings about people in her life and that kind of thing, and I might relate to that a little bit more than you do.
Yeah.
You know, but I know you've had feelings like that before, so
yes,
you can definitely understand that.
Yes.
I do get the heavy-handedness of the light and dark thing.
That didn't even bother me. That wasn't mainly the whole style of the movie is what really turned me off.
Okay.
It's just too much. I understand it's a fantasy world. I understand that is the style, and I get that. Cool. If that's what you like, awesome. I just couldn't get past that.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the problems with the story that I have. The story seemed to be not fleshed out as much as it could have been. One thing, I'll bring this up because I saw it on IMDb. There was a review that said, I like this better than Labyrinth. And to me, that's blasphemy. Labyrinth is a film that I think does the fantasy world and the real world very well. They have the people and the things that relate to the real world. It's just, I mean, I don't know, maybe it all comes down to CGI versus prosthetics to me.
I don't think the two are comparable.
I mean, they're similar.
But if you think about the budget...
Budget-wise, no.
And that's the thing people judge, like, when they compare two movies, and one has a minuscule budget, and then they're talking about a feature film starring David Bowie. I mean...
But that was also... But the Jim Henson Company had something to do with both of them.
True, but that's the thing. The Jim Henson Company, it doesn't say that, that they did the puppets or the effects or anything like that.
Well, there's no puppets.
No, I know. But they had a hand in this. I don't know exactly what it was.
I assume at this point in time, CGI was becoming bigger.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
Jim Henson's company was like, let's branch out and see what we can do digitally.
Well, yeah, it said Destination Films presents a Jim Henson Company production.
So
Mirrormask.
Jim Henson, they were doing it.
They produced it.
So it's weird. It's very, very weird to me. I assume that they wanted to branch out, and this is what it was.
Maybe they saw Neil Gaiman, and they're like, yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean...
I would do the same thing. I'd be like, Neil Gaiman? Yeah. Okay, cool.
But see, that's what's upsetting me, because I have not read him, but he's held in high regard. I understand that.
Yes.
But this story seems so simple to me. It seems very lazy that wasn't put into it since he wrote it. I don't know. I mean,
not everything he writes is going to be super complicated.
Everybody, you can't make everything great.
I mean,
every artist has something that isn't as great as their other things. I understand that.
And if you read Sandman, I think you would maybe understand, because Sandman is long and super involved. Yeah. I mean, it's just an absolute... I mean, you've seen the compendiums.
Yes.
Or the omnibus of each one, and they're huge.
Yeah.
I haven't even read all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I've read maybe half.
Yeah.
Because it's that long. And that involved. There's so many different characters, too, because like I told you, the main character in that has different siblings. They all represent something else, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand if maybe Neil was like, I'm going to write something easy.
Do a simple
I'm going to write
story.
something simple, maybe for the kiddos. You know what I mean?
You know what?
That's
true.
The thing.
It's a PG movie, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It's a PG movie.
Yeah.
So this is what you could show this to your kid and it would be fine.
Seeing this as a child, without really being able to pick it apart, as someone who's had almost 33 years of watching films at this point, I understand how you could, visually it is very striking. Yeah, I understand how a kid could definitely like this a lot more.
I mean, and that's the thing that we kind of have to remember about it, is like, this isn't geared towards adults. No. This was made for children.
Yes.
Yeah, and so, I saw that, it says in here, and this is probably when they got it, or we rented it, or whenever, but it was 2006. I was 16.
Yeah.
So, and this came out in 2005. I saw it probably not too long after. So yeah, I was like 16 when I saw this, and I was like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
I still think it's great because, like I said, I like, kind of like with your metal sometimes, you don't like stuff that's over-polished.
Yes.
It ruins it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's kind of how I feel about this, where I'm like, I like that it's not a perfect CG film. Yeah. I like that a lot. It's there's something to be said for that. Yeah,
I do like art where you can see the seams.
Yes.
I do. I don't know. Like I said, it's the CG, all the entire CG I just can't deal with. Mm-hmm. Especially when there is creatures that I feel would have worked better prosthetically. Because is Warwick the voice of that little hedgehog?
The little hedgehog?
I think that was Warwick Davis, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that could have been achieved maybe again, but that character, as you saw, it was very involved.
Yes.
And I don't know if they had the means to make that.
Yeah. I just wish there was more characters like Valentine.
Oh, me too.
Because
me too.
The real people in this fantasy universe are her and Valentine.
Her, Valentine,
and her parents, the queens.
The two queens, and then the guardian of the White Queen.
Yes.
As she's sleeping.
Yes.
Who is played by her father.
Yes. And again, if we would have had more of the circus people be in that world and be...
I'm not quite sure why they didn't go that route.
It
now that
makes
you bring it up.
sense.
It does.
Like, it really does.
That would have been cool to see.
Yeah, I would have loved that. Like I like the handmade feel of the mass. It starts in the circus, and that comes into the other world with Valentine.
You know, it actually just struck me why they're not in it.
Why?
Because it represents them essentially being taken away from her. If you think about it. Actually, and some of them are in the beginning. 2 of them are.
Oh, they are?
Yes. The Violet... Remember when she you know, the switch into the dream world, which, by the way... is very abrupt, and you actually don't even know what's going on until, like, a little bit more into the scene. Like, they hide that switch from you.
Yeah.
But she realizes that, remember, she meets Valentine with another, and he has another juggler friend, right?
Okay.
And then there's also someone else there, and then the violinist who's playing. And I believe those are the representations of... you know, her friends at the circus. And then, as you notice, the shadow comes in and gets both of them.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then her and Valentine escape.
So the reason that they are not in there is because she's being taken away from that entire
Yes, the entire world is not a part of her world anymore because they're not doing it anymore. Because that's the thing, we didn't really explain. While the mother is in the hospital, the father, poor guy, I feel really bad for him, trying to take care of his daughter... also have, you know, the circus isn't running because obviously the mother's in the hospital. So the dad is still kind of trying to get the circus people to kind of like hang on. You know what I mean?
He's trying to keep it afloat.
Yeah, because, I mean, he's got this entire troop of people depending on him for income of some sort. So they even say, you know, how long is this going to be? How long are we not going to be doing this? Because we got to find work. And if it's like for a week, we can do it. But if it's going to be longer than that, we got to find other stuff to do. Yeah. And they, you know, so they're very conflicted because they want to put the circus back on, but they don't want to do it, obviously, while she's in the hospital and not well. So, I mean, you really do feel for the dad character in this because he's really trying to do his best.
Yeah. He's a good guy. For sure.
But that's what I do believe is because that world is not her thing anymore because as you saw, she's living, I believe, with the grandmother during all of this.
Yes.
And she has her own room. And
I think the grandmother and the dad live, or I think her and her dad live with the grandmother. They all three live
together.
Yeah.
And you kind of see, I mean, because when they were doing the circus, Helena had her own trailer.
Yes.
And, you know, and it was her own space. We're introduced to her being very happy in that space. And she's got drawings all over the place, stuff like that. And then, of course, when the circus is not a thing and her mother is in the hospital, she's living in the room that she's staying in at her grandmother's house. And it's a little different, but again, she's got drawings all over the walls. So it's very important for her to be able to express herself that way.
That's where she goes when she needs to get away from the world. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That would have been the thing too. It would have been nice if some of her drawings were the characters. Yeah. I didn't really get any of that from any of the drawings. They might have
been, and we just didn't see.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like the drawings a lot.
Mm-hmm. No, I definitely like her drawings. I think that's got Neil's type of artwork.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm not sure if he does drawings as well or just writes.
I'm not sure. I think I've seen some of his stuff.
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
It's been a really long time since I've read any comics by him.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I need to do that.
Yeah.
Since I have the Death comics I just bought.
Yes. Yeah. I would like to read the Sandman for sure.
Good luck.
Just the first volume, I guess.
The first volume, yeah. That'll take you a while to get through that. Yeah. But it's good.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, as much as the overall style turns me off, the CGI stuff, like, I actually do enjoy the style of some of the just
characters.
the world, like the darkness and stuff like that. Like the locations I enjoyed more.
Did you like the policeman on stilts and the way that they moved? Remember?
Oh yeah, when they carry her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I really like that room they go into with all the locks.
Yes.
But that, that was there. That was on set. That wasn't CGI. They actually built that, all the locks, and having to try that key and everything. I really like that. It just comes down to their reliance on CG for me. That and the bare bones story. Because, like I said, if you have a bare bones story, you need to be really invested in the visuals. And that just didn't happen for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I would say I feel like the story is kept a little simple for kids to follow.
Yeah, especially if this is a kid's movie, I understand that, for sure. I get that, yeah.
Even though, truthfully, for a kid's movie, this is still a little...
It's a little freaky.
Convoluted.
Yeah, like, if I was a kid watching this, there's some things I'd be like, whoa.
Right? Yeah.
But I think that's good. To get in something completely different, I miss kids' movies that scare the shit out of kids.
Yeah.
I miss kids' movies that scare the shit out of kids. I miss kids' movies that put kids in danger. I miss kids' movies where, like, wow, that kid could die.
That's why you like Stranger Things, right?
That's why I like Stranger Things. That's why any new kids thing where kids are in peril because...
Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Nosferatu,
they're like teenagers. I'm talking about like kids.
No, I mean little kids.
Oh, yes. Nosferatu, the TV show.
The TV show, sorry.
Not the film, not the vampire. If you haven't seen Nosferatu, go watch that, because that's awesome. I wish they would have gotten a third season. I think kids' movies nowadays are they don't treat kids like they're intelligent. And I like movies that treat kids like they're intelligent. Like, kids understand fear. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they be introduced to it. Like, I was introduced to horror stuff at a very early age, and I don't think that harmed me. I don't think that...
I feel like there's horror films out there that are meant to warn you, if anything.
Yes!
Against
like, it's a tale to... hey, don't do this. Hey,
I think one of those films for me that my mom introduced me to was Fear.
When did you see that movie?
When I was probably in middle school.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say under 10.
No, in middle school.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think Mom was like, it's a cautionary tale, so watch this.
Don't date dudes like this.
Oh my god.
He'll cut your head off your dog and put it in the mail slot. Or not the mail slot, put it in the doggy door.
And they'll cut his name into your chest.
Oh god,
smear ink into it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't remember that
movie
part.
is insane.
Yeah. I was more talking about, like, fantastical movies.
I know, sorry.
And you took it to, like, real world.
Sorry.
Fear, Mark Wahlberg being crazy shit.
That's not what it... Well, I mean, but she's in high school, though.
Yeah.
During that film, in that film, so...
Yeah.
I mean, still, you know what I mean? That's, But I do agree with you on that, like, kids being in danger. Like,
yeah.
I like...
I'm trying to think of one of the newer movies that have done it.
Babysitter? I don't know. You weren't...
I'm not a big fan of that movie. No, but, like, I'm talking about, like, small kids. Like you said, Stranger Things does it, and that's great, because they're middle school age, around 10 to 13. That's kind of the thing I'm thinking about.
Kids being in actual peril.
Yeah, kids being kids and getting into something that kids shouldn't be in. Mm-hmm. But then having to survive that. And I like those type of movies, probably because, like I said, I'm an 80s kid. A lot of 80s movies were like that. Mm-hmm. Not so much anymore. Mm-hmm. Which I would really like to see again.
What would you like to rate the movie?
Sure. We've gotten a little off of... Oh, wow, look at that.
That's fine.
I would give this movie 4 out of 10.
That's not too bad.
I don't hate it.
No, you don't hate it. You don't love it.
I don't love it. I don't hate it.
Is it an okay movie?
It's an okay movie.
There you go. And it's okay to be okay with okay movies.
Yes, it is. But I'm not okay with this movie. That's the thing. I'm not okay with this okay movie.
Oh, okay.
This movie, I just can't enjoy it. Okay. It would not be a movie that I would come back to. It's a movie that if you were like, hey, I'm gonna put this on, throw this on, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go do something else.
Okay, gotcha.
There's not a lot to enjoy for me in this movie.
Did you like the music? because it's very jazzy, and I thought that.
Oh no, I did. Like. Yeah, I liked the music. I like the bass lines.
Very jazzy.
Yes, I did enjoy that.
Yeah, and I as I was listening to it while we were watching it, I'm just like, I'm pretty sure Will's gonna at least like the music.
It's my favorite part of the movie.
There you go.
The audio play. You make this an audio play. I just that's just it. That's a movie.
Or make this a stage play. That'd be
stage play. But
that'd be cool.
If you can't get into the visuals of a film like this, you just can't. It's not going to be a movie for you.
That's true.
And that's just the only thing. And that's okay. I understand why people could really like this movie. It is very. That's the thing. As we were watching it, I was saying, it sucks that I don't like this movie because I can see the level of creativity behind it.
There's a lot,
and I can see the passion for it and everything, but I just can't get with the visuals, so it killed it for me.
No.
Yeah,
that's okay. It's fine. You don't hate it, and that's fine.
No, I don't. There's no reason to hate this movie.
Well, and as long as you can understand kind of why I like it.
Oh, of course, I understand. Like I said, I understand why people would like this movie. If you can get down with the visuals, I understand it. I totally do.
It's not Voodoo Academy, so.
The worst rated movie so far. Oh, no. I mean, this Voodoo Academy has no creativity. This has all the creativity. That's what I respect. If you make a movie with passion, with creativity, and it's a story that you want to tell, even if it doesn't come out 100%, I completely respect you because you did it and you went and you tried to put something out in the world. This has a story. It has a message. It has something for young people. It's like there's going to be hard times, but you're going to be able to get through them.
And I'm kind of curious what else Dave McKean has done now. So.
I think I looked him up on IMDb. It seems like he did a lot of short film work. Okay. I don't know if he's had other feature films that he's done.
Oh, I also will note, it's funny because he's not, I don't think he's on the back. No, he's not. Because he's only in it for like a small segment, but Stephen Fry is
oh yeah, he does a voice.
He does a voice of the librarian, I believe.
Yeah,
they go to the library. Yeah. So that's fun, and I recognize his voice right away too. So because he's just got one of those voices.
He's the guy that has like the one eye,
yes.
Like the weird head and the one eye. Yeah, I didn't love that.
I know.
That's another PC game moment for me.
I like that kind of stuff.
Well, what would you rate it?
I'm gonna give it a 7.
Okay.
It's still pretty solid for me.
Yeah.
I kind of, it's one of those movies that I kind of wish I could re-experience.
Like for the first time, yeah.
Yeah. But because as I watched it, I remembered a lot of it as we were watching it.
I think that's fun with a lot of movies where you don't remember them so much, but you rewatch it, and as the scene happens, it comes back in your mind the way that you felt when you watched it last. And I think that's a fun thing.
I think it's funny that I also was completely sure I had watched this with you before.
Nope.
And I had not. So
nope.
That's weird.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Mirrormask.
Yep. Mirrormask.
So we are doing streams every Saturday, guys.
Yes,
if you don't know already. This past stream we did was The Room.
Yes.
It was very, very, very fun. A lot of people, it was their first time seeing it, which is great. We are going to be, it's Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. I can't say Eastern.
You can.
5 p.m. Mountain Time. 4 p.m. Pacific? I think. I don't know.
Sure.
One of those is right. This next one, I believe, Troll 2.
I think that's what we're shooting for.
A lot of people have requested Troll 2, so I think we're going to do that this Saturday. So yeah, it's just my YouTube channel, youtube.com, Will Krupinski. If you're not already watching this on it, if you're listening, you can go over there Saturday, and we will be watching Troll 2 with everyone. It's a really fun time. I love doing the live streams. And
what are we going to watch Troll 2 on?
Hanging out with everybody. Troll 2 is on some streaming service. Okay. It's either on HBO or Netflix.
Okay.
It's on one of those.
Okay.
So we'll have more information out for you guys when we get closer to that.
We post all that stuff on social media. So
yes, social media. Following us on social media. It's in. You can. I say it in every episode. I don't want to keep saying it. I feel like I'm just hammering it to death.
No, you're not. Do you put it in the description though?
Yeah,
okay,
of the video.
Yes. Okay.
Of the YouTube version of
there
this.
You go. Okay.
But yeah, so thank you guys for listening. Thank you for continuing to watching if you are. We have fun doing this. We have fun doing the live streams. I'm glad we're doing that now.
Me too.
So yeah, come hang out with us at the next live stream on Saturday, and if you don't do that, we'll see you next Monday.
Yep.
All right, thanks guys.
Bye guys.
Bye.